Hello, welcome back to this video. In this session, we'll be looking more deep into algebraic expression. Having told you guys the difference between algebraic expression and algebraic equation, I said that whenever you see algebraic expression is a kind of algebra that don't have equality sign mediating there. Okay, then algebraic expression has algebraic expression don't have equality sign mediating there, but algebraic equation has. That is why the name equation. Do you understand? Okay. So the next thing we are going to look into is types of algebraic expression. You have monomials, we have binomials, you have trinomials, then you have polynomials. So each of them are sounded. When you hear mono means one. So it means that kind of algebraic expression that has only one term. For example, let's say that you have something like this, just something like this, 2x. This is a monomial. You have something like this, 5y. This is a monomial. You have something like this, 7a. This is a monomial. You have something like this, 7b. This is a monomial, right? Why is it a monomial? Is that kind of algebra that has only one term there. Only one term. Only one term. Only one term. Do you grab? Okay. Then if you have such kind of algebra that has two terms, you call that one binomials. Binomials. Okay? So binomial is that kind of algebraic expression that have two terms. Just like this now. Binomials. Coming to trinomials, trinomials has three terms. Let me illustrate so that you can see it. Binomial has two terms. For example, if you have something like this, 2x plus 9, that is a binomial. Why? It has two terms. But in a situation whereby you have 2x squared plus 3x minus 6, that is a trinomial, right? Why? It's because it has three terms. When you have 6m minus 2n plus 4y, okay, what you're having here is a trinomial. Why? It has three terms. Then in a situation where you have up to four terms, that algebraic expression that has up to four terms, for example, let's assume that you have something that goes this way. You have something that goes this way, 4x plus 2y minus 3p plus 5q. When you have something like this, you see that it has four terms, right? Okay, it has four terms. Since it has up to four terms or even more, from that four terms or even more, you can tag it as a polynomial, right? There are up to four terms there. But if you want to be specific, something that is four, you call it tetranomial. But the more you keep on prolonging it, the more that you'll be blurring the clarity, right? So you tag them, all of them. The more bulk here is becoming, you target polynomials. Okay, the next thing we'll be looking into is algebraic processes. We'll be looking at algebraic processes. And the two major algebraic processes we have are expansion and factorization. But before then, I can remember in our previous video, we talked something about, we discussed something about coefficient, right? Okay, we forgot to talk about what of the coefficients that have negative sign. For example, you have something like this, minus 2x. You say, okay, in this particular expression, we should know that is a monomial. What is the coefficient here? The coefficient of x. The coefficient of x here is what? Is minus 2, right? Okay, you don't ignore the sign. In mathematics, both the sign and the numerical value count. You don't ignore the sign, right? If they ask you what is the coefficient of 3x, you are going to say 3. The reason why you are saying 3 does not mean that that 3 you said does not carry a sign. It carries a sign. Do you get? It carries a sign, and the sign here is what? Is positive sign. You can say that the coefficient of 3x is 3, or you can say what? You can say plus 3. The reason is because whether 3 like that or plus 3 is still the same thing. Any value you see, you are not seeing any sign attached to it. By default, such value carries positive sign. Do you understand? Okay, so if someone gives you this term now, this monomial, let me say 6y, and they say, okay, what is the coefficient of y in this expression? You are going to say that the coefficient of y is what? Is plus 6, or you can say 6. Do you get? But if someone say, what is the coefficient of minus 6y? What is the coefficient of y here? That is minus 6y. Do you understand? Okay, so you have to always lay emphasis on the signs. Now, another thing that I want to emphasize here is those expressions that you are seeing only letter. Let me say you have something like this, x, and you are asked what is the coefficient of x. You are going to say that the coefficient of x is what? Is 1. Okay? The reason is because in algebra, it doesn't make sense if you write a letter and you represent at the back of that letter, you represent it with just 1 as a numerical value. It doesn't make sense. So you leave it like that, write it just as that letter. When you do so, whenever you are asked what is the coefficient of that letter, the coefficient of that letter, provided you are not seeing anything at the back of this letter, is what? Is 1. Okay? The same thing goes for z. If someone say, what is the coefficient of z? You are going to say is 1. But in a situation where you have something like minus x, what is the coefficient of minus x? That is what? Minus 1. You have a sign here. What is the coefficient of minus y? That is what? That is minus 1. You have a sign here. Do you understand? Okay, so that is how it actually works. Let's proceed immediately to algebraic processes. Algebraic processes. Algebraic processes. Okay, so there are two major algebraic processes in this your level that we are going to explore. The first one is expansion, while the second one is factorization. What is expansion? When you hear expansion, expansion has to do with extracting an algebraic expression into a multiplied form. Okay, into a simple multiplied form. You are trying to extract, you are trying to expand, you are trying to extract. Expansion. Okay, so when you hear about expansion, it means a situation, that algebraic process that involve you to expand, expand, or let me use the word extract. You want to extract or you want to expand. Okay, you want to expand a particular expression into a simple multiplied format. Okay, you want to expand or extract a given expression into a simple multiplied multiplied format. Okay, so that is expansion for you. Then I'm going to explain things about factorization, then try to connect both of them together before we start solving problems. See you in the next video.